You are exhausted. You came to the conversation armed for victory. You had the facts, the figures, the peer-reviewed studies, the devastatingly clever lines of reasoning. You laid them out one by one, a perfect crystalline structure of logic. And you watched in utter disbelief as the other person simply ignored them. They doubled down. They attacked you personally. They brought up something from 3 years ago, anything but concede the point. You walk away from that family dinner, that comments section, that boardroom meeting feeling a unique kind of despair. It's a feeling of screaming into a void. You feel unseen, unheard, and maybe a little crazy. You wonder what is wrong with people. Why can't they just see the truth when it's presented so clearly? You blame their ignorance, their stubbornness, their bias. You might even, in your darkest moments, blame yourself. Maybe you weren't eloquent enough. Maybe you missed one crucial data point. But here is the uncomfortable truth, the warning sign you have been ignoring. Your frustration is not a personal failure. It is a symptom. It is the screeching alarm of a system that is not working the way you've been told it does. You are a good soldier fighting a war with the wrong weapons, on the wrong battlefield, under a fraudulent set of rules. You have been sold a lie so fundamental, so deeply embedded in our Enlightenment heritage that it feels like bedrock reality. The lie is this, that human beings are rational creatures, and the truth, when presented logically, will always prevail. We are told that reason is the king, the judge, the ultimate arbiter of belief. That a good argument is a key that can unlock any mind. Look around you. Does that feel true? In a world of billion-dollar advertising campaigns that sell soda with feelings of joy, not lists of ingredients, in a world of political rallies that sway millions with chants and symbols, not policy papers, in a world where you see people risk their lives for a flag, a god, or a tribe, does it honestly look like reason is in charge? Your entire strategy for persuasion, for connection, for changing the world is based on this foundational deception. And it is the reason you are failing. It is the reason you are so tired. You are trying to pick a lock with a crowbar. So let me ask you, what if the mind is not a courtroom to be won over by evidence, but something else entirely? And what if, by understanding its true nature, you could finally end this futile war? To understand the mechanics of this lie, we must turn to a man who saw through it nearly 300 years ago. Not an academic in an ivory tower, but a prophet who dared to look at humanity as it is, not as we wish it to be. And he gave us the key, the single sentence that dismantles the entire Enlightenment project of rational supremacy. Hume's revelation was this: reason is and ought only to be the slave of the passions. Read that again. Let it dismantle you. Reason is not the king on the throne. It is the slave, the servant, the cringing advisor who is terrified of the real monarch. And what is that monarch? Your passions, your feelings, your gut intuitions, your tribal loyalties, your deep-seated fears, your aesthetic tastes, your sense of honor, your flashes of disgust and joy. This is the source of your pain. When you enter an argument, you think you are engaging in a noble duel of intellects. You are not. You are, in fact, storming the castle and spitting on the king's face. That belief you are trying to dismantle with your perfect logic is not just an idea to the other person. It is entangled with their identity, their sense of belonging, their feeling of safety in the world. You are not debating their reason. You are attacking their passion. And what does the slave, reason, do when its master, passion, is under attack? It does not surrender. It does not weigh your evidence fairly. It does its job. It defends its master. It becomes a brilliant, tireless, and utterly biased lawyer for a case that has already been decided by feeling. Think of that online argument about climate change. You're posting graphs from NASA, You believe you are debating atmospheric CO2 levels. You are not. For the other person, that belief might be tied to their identity as a self-reliant individual who despises government overreach. Passion, freedom, defiance. Your facts are not just facts. They are a threat to their very sense of self. Their reason's job is to find any crack, any conspiracy, any countersource to protect that feeling. Think of the corporate meeting. You have a detailed analysis showing why Project A is a logical disaster. But the CEO has a good feeling about Project B, championed by his friend from business school. The decision has already been made by passion, loyalty, intuition. A performance where everyone's reason is conscripted to generate charts and projections that justify the CEO's gut feeling. It's not a time management problem, it's a meaning management problem. It's not a data deficit, it's a trust deficit. You don't have an argument problem, you have a passion, insurgency problem. This is not a glitch in the human system. This is the system. Your belief that logic is the prime mover is the glitch. It is the foreign software installed in you by a culture that worships a God that isn't there. But the lie, the great deception of rationality, goes even deeper than that. It's not just that reason is a slave. The system has been brilliantly engineered to make the slave believe it is the master, and to make you complicit in your own futility. The trap is more subtle, more psychologically profound than you can imagine. For a modern map of this inner prison, we turn to another prophet, the social psychologist Jonathan Haidt. He took Hume's explosive insight and gave it a powerful, unforgettable metaphor. He asks you to picture your mind as an elephant with a rider perched on top. The elephant is the passion. It is the 99% of your mental processing that is ancient, intuitive, emotional, and automatic. It's your gut feeling, your flash of disgust, your surge of warmth, your herd instinct. The elephant is what moves you. The rider is reason. It is the 1% of your mind that is conscious, analytical, and verbal. The rider holds the reins, and because of this, the rider believes it is in charge. It believes it is steering the elephant. But here is the terrifying secret. The rider is minuscule compared to the elephant. When the 6-ton elephant wants to go somewhere, it's going there. The rider can't stop it. So what is the rider's real job? It's not to steer, it's to be the elephant's public relations manager. After the elephant has already leaned or lurched or bolted in a direction based on its own passions and intuitions, the rider's job is to frantically confabulate a logical-sounding reason for why that was the right and proper direction to go all along. I didn't just bolt because that snake looked scary. I bolted as a strategic relocation to a higher vantage point. This is the true machinery of the deception. The system of control, media, politics, advertising knows this. It knows the secret you do not. It knows that trying to persuade the rider with facts is a fool's errand. It is inefficient, amateurish, so they bypass the rider entirely. They speak directly to your elephant. They don't give you a list of reasons to vote for a candidate. They show you an image of the candidate with a flag and soaring music speaks to the elephant's loyalty. They don't give you data on a soft drink sugar content. They show you an ad of beautiful, laughing young people sharing one speaks to the elephant's desire for belonging. They don't argue against immigration with statistics. They tell a story of a single crime committed by an immigrant speaks to the elephant's fear and disgust. They get your elephant to lean. And then, the most insidious part of the trap is sprung. Your own rider, your own precious reason, does the rest of the work for them. It immediately gets busy, constructing a fortress of rationalizations to make you feel smart, principled, and in control of your own belief. The system outsources its propaganda work to your own mind. This is why your arguments fail. You are a rider shouting logical arguments at another rider while the two elephants are having a completely different conversation underneath. They might be sniffing each other for signs of threat, testing for tribal allegiance, or responding to hidden emotional triggers in the environment you can't even perceive. Your endless, frustrating arguments are not a bug. They are a feature. They are a magnificent distraction. While you are busy polishing your arguments for the rider, the real battle for the heart and soul of humanity is being waged at the level of the elephant. And you are not even in the fight. So you see the prison, you see the mechanics of the trap, you see the sheer futility of the game you have been forced to play. The lie of rationality is exposed. The question that should be burning in your mind is this: how do you escape? How do you stop playing their game and start operating in the world as it truly is? The antidote is not a new form of logic. It is not a cleverer way to debate. That is still speaking to the rider. The antidote is a radical shift in your entire orientation. It is the path to true power, the path of inner sovereignty. The liberation concept is this: you must stop winning arguments and start building connection. You must learn to speak elephant. Speaking elephant is the art of influencing the passion before you engage the reason. It is the forgotten language of human change. It is not manipulation. It is profound respect for the true nature of another human being. It means abandoning the ego's need to be right in favor of the soul's need to connect. The first rule of speaking elephant is this: you cannot influence an elephant that is threatened by you. As long as you are perceived as an enemy combatant in an argument, the other person's elephant will be in defense mode. Its sole priority will be to protect its rider and its territory. Your facts will be seen as weapons. So, your first move is not to attack, but to disarm. How do you disarm? You stop trying to score points and start asking genuine questions, not gotcha questions to expose a logical flaw, but questions of the heart. That's an interesting perspective. What in your life led you to feel so strongly about that? What's the biggest concern you have when you think about this issue? Help me understand what this feels like from your side. You are not looking for a debate opponent. You are looking for the elephant's story. You are mapping its emotional landscape. When you do this, something miraculous happens. The elephant begins to calm down. It senses you are not a threat, but a potential friend. The rider, seeing the elephant relax, has less to defend. The entire dynamic shifts from a battle to a potential partnership. The second rule of speaking elephant is: truth travels through stories. Facts and data are for the rider. They are sterile and cold. Stories are for the elephant. They are warm and alive. A story bypasses the argumentative rider and delivers a payload of emotion, metaphor, and meaning directly into the elephant's heart. Don't say, vaccines have a 99.99% safety profile. That's rider talk. Tell the story of a doctor you know, how she weighed the decision for her own child, the sleepless nights, and the relief she felt. Don't say, your business plan is statistically unlikely to succeed. Tell an analogy. This feels a bit like trying to sail across the Atlantic in a rowboat. I admire the courage, but I worry about the storms. What if we built a bigger ship together? A story creates a shared experience. It builds a bridge between your elephant and theirs. An argument builds a wall. This is your new mission. You are not a debater. You are a storyteller. You are not a prosecutor. You are a bridge builder. Think of the man who needs nothing in a negotiation. He has the power because he is free. The person who can let go of the need to win an argument, to be proven intellectually superior, is the person who gains true influence. This is the path of liberation. It's the release of the ego's desperate clench on being right. This is not easy. The lie of rationality is seductive. It feels good to be right. It gives you a sense of order in a chaotic world and a feeling of superiority over the irrational masses. Letting go of that is a form of death. It is the death of the ego that thinks it can control the world with its cleverness. The world will not help you do this. The system benefits from your slumber. It wants you locked in futile combat, talking to riders, distracted and angry. It thrives on the division created by elephants stampeding in opposite directions, each with a rider on top confidently explaining why their stampede is the only logical one. The choice, as always, is yours. You can continue to sharpen your logical swords. You can continue to charge into battle, armed with facts, and return bloody, exhausted, and bewildered by your constant defeat. You can keep blaming the world for not conforming to your flawed map. Or you can make a different choice. The choice to be effective over being right. The choice to seek connection over conquest. The choice to learn the ancient, subtle, and powerful language of the elephant. It is a quieter path. It requires humility. It requires you to listen more than you speak. It requires you to care about the other person's soul more than your own argument. This is not about abandoning truth. It is about honoring the real way truth enters a human heart. Truth is not a weapon to be hurled. It is a seed to be planted, and it cannot grow in the barren, defensive soil of a threatened mind. It can only grow in the warm, tilled ground of trust and connection. So, lay down your weapons, take off your armor. Step out of the courtroom and into the field. Stop talking to the exhausted, biased press secretary on top. Turn your attention to the magnificent, powerful, and emotional creature below. Look the elephant in the eye. Stop trying to win the argument. Start trying to understand the story, because in that space of understanding, a new story can be written. This is the end of the lie. This is the beginning of your power.